Fallout is one huge lie. You are telling me that in this post-apocalypse, you can just go on these quirky adventures and find some remnants of organization and rights. How old are you again? 7. Post-apocalypse isn't some medium to build crude versions of fantasy worlds with ghouls for goblins and mutants for orcs and robots or something for elves. It should be exactly that. Post-apocalypse. A decaying world after a great calamity so full of misery is unable to pull itself together. Something like Iron Lung or Kenshi or Rito of the Healer. But when I look at manga, I feel like this niche is for some reason unoccupied. And then I read The Horizon. Death and life. One is the consequence of another. These are the exact thoughts that cross the boy's head as he holds his mother's corpse on a street littered with countless mutilated bodies. Complete chaos, military crackdowns and genocide. All structures in every city of the earth falling apart after someone called One Piece Man. The boy stands up. Left foot, right foot. There is no reason for his movement, no greater goal in mind, and yet walking is all he can do. One day he discovers a bus to sleep in, but upon waking up he finds that he wasn't alone. The two stare at each other like wild beasts before realizing that they share the same experience of losing their parents. Boom! A massive explosion illuminates the bus. The boy grabs this girl's hand and they run across the heated battlefield. Bombs go off all around them before they miraculously escape. They start walking around the road that stretches into the infinity, hoping that a better place awaits them over the horizon. The horizon? Get it? After walking for days, the boy and the girl run into a strange man.
Aw, look at him, he's so cute. Surely taking him with them won't hurt, right?
Wrong. Very wrong. As soon as the boy takes out the water bottle, the man rushes in and removes every water molecule inside. There's just one question hanging in the air. What do they do? They can't run away from this man as a plains biome, and at this rate, they will die of dehydration. Do they kill the man? They have no weapons. Do they run away? The man does not sleep. Worse, he does not stop following them. Reading this manga is kinda like edging. You feel like something horrible is right around the corner, and yet the big reveal never happens. Then, once the waters come down and you think you're safe, you're hit with the most horrifying scene out of nowhere. This manga managed to accomplish what very little others do while using less words than the first 5 chapters of One Piece. Yes, I counted all that. What you will often hear in writing and directing and animation is show, don't tell. This is such a cliche advice that it has practically lost all of its meaning. Because well, no shit, Sherlock! Timmy walks into the room without a fucking arm, and the narrator goes, Timmy had lost his arm. Everyone cried. Newsflash, it's not gonna have the same impact as just showing people around him react to this horrific fact without giving these sitcom-ass commentaries. And yet mastering this skill is what often separates good shows from bad ones.
Take your time.
And The Horizon is good. There are these insane panels that show the rotting mental state of our protagonists while avoiding to use even a single word. Instead, they let the narrative do all the heavy lifting. There's a moment in the second chapter when the kids try to escape while the man has fallen asleep. A bomb goes off and now their plan goes to shit. They try again the next night, alright, cool. But the man has stopped sleeping. He knows he'll run away if he lets Yaskari town. The boy knows that the man can't go without sleep forever, and so they enter the battle of attrition. The author shows this unhinged repetition of the boy waking up, checking up on the man, him getting even more paranoid and resisting sleep even further, again and again and again. The struggle starts to take a severe toll on both their mental states. But one day the man finally caves in, crashing down onto the ground, crying for the kids to not leave him. And there was zero dialogue between these guys. Do you see what I mean? This is so goated, it makes me just... I really don't want to do this bit. This is a great time to mention the art of The Horizon. Like, this dude's forehead is monumental. He could build a medium-sized New York high-rise on all that real estate. Music. Sound. Motion. As a mangaka, you don't have access to these godly tools of storytelling, and since The Horizon actively rejects English language, there's one less way it can make you feel something. So, how does the author of The Horizon, Ji-Hoon Jong, combat all that? Well, by packing pure emotion into each and every panel. There are ones that depict the rawest feeling of happiness. There are ones that overwhelm you with harrowing grief. And there are ones that I can't even begin to describe. This is manga. You see these weird complex lines and layouts? What is this? A map or something? This is manga. Do you see any diagonal lines? No, this shit is more straight than my orientation. These are very different. The Horizon has to fit all of these mad artworks while having to use the aspect ratio of a comic block. Manga is like reading a book. Literature, some might even say. With all this eye movement and tracking of the flow of events. Manga is more like kissing brain rot. Just scrolling. It's kinda like scrolling through a projector tape. I mean, I personally never scrolled through one, I'm not a fossil, but I imagine this is what they did back in 1769. But I'm still gonna call it manga. The crazy thing is these panels can honestly be anything. Sometimes they're a simple drawing of the boy or the girl or the landscape. And the others, it's this elaborate, intricate web of lines and that Junji Ito ominously detailed style and morbid rendering. Sometimes it's these intricate collages and sometimes it's scribbles from a kid's art book. And bro often does this thing where he creates these backgrounds that you can't tell whether are a mess of lines or a bunch of small doodles. Because this right here is a bunch of little drawings, you just have to use an electron microscope to see them. And it is this uncertainty of what you'll see on the next page or even on the next panel that cranks up the feeling of paranoia and dread to 100. There's this part where the boy and the girl get captured by a 9-foot tall skyscraper. This guy is completely cold. He kills every person carrying a weapon that enters the city. The kids try to argue with him, especially the girl. She's like, killing is bad, and then he's like, people are like bacteria on a wound. Yap, classic insane character. The real shit begins when we see his ideology in true action. He assigns the boy to sit and inform him on the coordinates of trespassers. A vehicle bursts into flames. A single survivor runs for his life, throws away his weapon, begs for mercy, but the boy must still transmit his coordinates. Because even if this man is no harm, he must be killed off. This sequence goes for a good 6 pages, with our boy just dictating the coordinates and making the death of this man who now just tries to flee this hell feel more and more imminent under the man's keen eye. He shows zero mercy for anyone. If the children said that they had killed someone on their way to the city, he would 100% suspend their life subscription on the spot. This manga does not hold back when it comes to portraying the cruelty of this universe. Because when shit hits the fan, you bet that the powerful will abuse the living shit out of— What's up with this music? Militaries will crack down on the population to preserve resources and enforce order. Because who's gonna stop them? Some Johnny Silverhand? This is real shit. Not Fallout, not some teens vent comic, real. And the plot twists and turns is not because the author felt like fighting that particular direction that day, but because it makes sense. No one is safe. It really does feel like there is no plot armor, but not in the dumb Akame kill way where every character gets killed off for some stupid reason in a fancy show-off. Okay, the opening song had no right to go this hard. Just give me a second, let me listen to it a little more. Okay, I already hear the bowling narrator guy coming. Anyone, including our boy and girl, might just be the next victims of uncontrollable violence. This is Watermelon, a manga I used to read as a wee lad, and what it is about 2 orphans in the depths of despair. But what it boils down to— Hey, you're right! And that's the entire drive for the plot. These orphans just get treated like shit by some assholes for no reason. Okay, there is some lore, but the explanation given up to the chapter 50 was— That does not explain shit! I mean, no offense to the author though, considering the quality of the art and the insane weekly deadline that they had to deal with while keeping up with school, the fact that this manga even exists is very admirable. Because the point was, it's so easy to give characters, especially children, all the emotional complexity of a punching bag in settings like this. But the Horizon's characters aren't some betas. They don't snap at the first punch life throws at them. They try to overcome even the greatest struggles, push on like Sisyphus, but that's exactly what makes the moments when they do burst into tears, when they do feel like all hope is lost, feel that much more heartbreaking. Just take a look at this representative of British dental healthcare. Look at just how much agony is packed into this single expression. The story is just 21 chapters long, 90 minutes. It took me 90 minutes to read the whole thing. I measured. Though to really feel the emotional impact behind each and every frame, I would advise you not to try to go for the Horizon speedrun, but to take it in slowly. Because this manga doesn't fall into the trap of diluting itself with filler unlike many others do. Each chapter is jam-packed with story progression, each panel says something unique. The Horizon enters the room, says what it wants to say with few but powerful words, then drops the mic, beats you up, gives you hope, and then comes back to beat you down. And yet, when I think about the Horizon, I don't think about the atrocities of war or about the injustice of life. I think about the last 3 chapters and how much of a message they delivered with the little words they had. Because without spoiling it, it were these 3 chapters that transformed the Horizon from a terrifying tale into one of the most uniquely uplifting stories I have ever seen condensed into such a short format. Oh yeah, and I actually really like Fallout.